Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very special episode of Easy Buckets. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Where are all my fantasy basketball lovers out there? I got something amazing for you all. We're going to be talking about breakout fantasy players for this video. If you're an OG on this channel, you know it all started with fantasy basketball. And with that being said, I'm not going to forget about making these fantasy videos for you guys, especially for those who have been there since day one. I just want to say, for those out there who have been there, I appreciate you. With the NBA season starting in about a month, a lot of us are excited to be drafting our fantasy basketball squads, but I want to be here to give you guys my best advice when it comes to who should we be drafting. So if you're a big fantasy fan and want to know who are the best targets, you're going to love this. For this upcoming week, I'm going to be posting more fantasy basketball videos, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications to not miss any of my upcoming videos. Just one more thing, guys, I'm relaunching my Patreon page. This year is going to be a little bit different and a little bit better. Of course, I'm going to have fantasy basketball advice available, but also a Discord community chat. If you guys want to be a part of the Easy Buckets Discord, go check out my Easy Buckets Patreon page. Link is down in the description. I would love as many of you guys to be a part of that. But without wasting any more time, let's talk about 10 breakout players for fantasy basketball. Playing fantasy basketball is definitely the biggest hobby of mine, and I love making videos for you guys. Is it just me, or draft day is one of the most fun, one of the best days of the year, especially for basketball lovers? Is that just me, guys, or you guys feel the same way? Before getting into my list of 10 players that I believe will break out, I do want to give you some key points before getting into it. The first thing I do want to say is this: any advice I give you is definitely me just being honest. At the end of the day, I could be right, I could be wrong. So when it comes to it, I want you guys to be the final decision maker, of course, for the outcome. The second key point is when to draft. My biggest advice is when drafting your fantasy basketball teams, I always suggest drafting after the preseason. The NBA season starts this year on October 19th, and preseason is from October 3rd to October 17th. So if you can talk to your commissioners to make the draft around the end of preseason, I believe that's the best case scenario on building the perfect teams. And this is great for everybody in your league. And the last key point is explaining the word breakout. What it basically means is a player that last year, even if they were bad or good, this year they're going to have a significant improvement to be in a higher fantasy level. I believe wherever these players are currently listed as their ADP, by the end of the season, they're going to be better than expected. The first player is Darius Garland of the Cavaliers, and NBA execs, not just myself, believe that he's going to be one of the best breakout players. As of right now for fantasy, he's ranked at number 73, and I do believe he's going to be a top 50 player, of course, if he does stay healthy. In his second year in the NBA last year, he averaged 17 points and about 6 assists, but with the circumstances that happened for the Cavaliers this summer, Garland could improve to a 19 points per game player and a 7 assists per game player. Garland could easily top those numbers. The Cavaliers got Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and of course Lauri Markkanen this summer, and with Darius Garland being the primarily ball handler, the playmaker, he's going to excel more on those pick and rolls and pick and pops, which is going to increase his assist percentage. When you're building your team and want an assist specialist, Garland is the perfect target because for one, he's still going to score, but two, he's going to give you high efficiency on assists, and some nights drop a double-double. The next player on this list is Trent Jr of the Toronto Raptors, and Trent has become one of the more popular Raptors go-to players. During this past offseason, the Raptors lost Kyle Lowry, a big part of their offense and defense, and with that being said, Trent Jr is going to be their starting shooting guard to be their floor spacer, and I do believe one of their most high scorers. Trent finished last year averaging about 15 points per game, making about 2 plus 3s per game. And what's crazy to me right now is that his ADP is 143. One thing's for sure, Trent's going to be a top 100 player by the end of the season. With the Raptors not having Pascal Siakam at the beginning of the season and they lost Lowry, they're going to need a go-to scorer, and that's where Trent comes in. He shows a lot of aggressiveness on offense and more importantly has the passion and fearless mind to not shoot the ball. And with the Raptors needing that right now, Trent, I do see him averaging about 19 to 20 points per game. During this summer, the Raptors invested 3 years, $50 million in Gary Trent, which means they believe in his future there. And I do believe this year, we're going to see that for sure. Next up, we got LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets. This is a no-brainer. LaMelo Ball in his second year is going to be absolutely phenomenal. As of right now, he's ranked as number 25. Fantasy Hoops have already ranked him high as where I'm ranking him, and I do believe he's going to be a solid second-round pick or even an early third-round pick for your teams. Last year, he averaged about 16 points a game, 6 boards, and 6 assists. But that was because Devontae Graham and Trent Jr was kind of fighting him for that starting point guard and shooting guard spot. But with Devontae Graham being shipped out, LaMelo is their future Rookie of the Year franchise player, and him and Trent Jr is going to run that team. I do see LaMelo Ball averaging about 20 points per game and dropping triple-doubles night in and night out. LaMelo Ball, one of the more obvious breakout players. I'm just listing him today. It's so obvious. Do not be afraid to draft him in the second round or third round. Next up, we got Nickeil Alexander-Walker of the New Orleans Pelicans. During this past offseason, the Pelicans traded away Lonzo Ball and Eric Bledsoe, which means Nickeil has now become the starting shooting guard for the Pelicans, and oh boy, I do believe he's going to be a very good target. When talking about last season, Nickeil didn't have an amazing season. He was fighting for minutes, but when he got minutes, you can tell Stan Van Gundy, Ingram, and Zion loves playing alongside him. And with the Pelicans needing more help on the backcourt with Devontae Graham there, and of course more scoring from Nickeil, I do see more looks for him. Last year, he averaged about 11 points per game, playing in about 20 minutes per game, and shooting about 11 shots a game. This year, I do believe his shot attempts could improve to 14. Nickeil right now is listed as 103 in the rankings, and I do believe he'll top 100 for sure because of his playing time and how young he is. He has a lot of potential. Next up, we got Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Grizzlies, and JJJ is going to be a phenomenal big man target. Ever since he was drafted, his hype was real, but of course getting hit with multiple injuries and not getting a lot of playing time, JJJ hasn't been that star we expect him to be. But when talking about last season, especially during the second half, when JJJ came back from injury, you can tell he was playing absolutely amazing. He was hitting 3-point shots and playing great defense in the paint. JJJ is getting better season after season, and I do believe this year is a breakout year. A big reason why I believe he's going to be better is because this summer, the Grizzlies just traded away JV, Giannis Valanciunas, to the Pelicans. And even though they got Steven Adams, I don't believe Steven Adams is going to be a big part of the rotation. He's going to start, but come on, I do see JJJ playing the 5 a lot this year. Jaren Jackson Jr. right now is listed as number 50 in the rankings, and I do believe if he's healthy, he could finish in the top 30. Next up, we got Keldon Johnson of the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich's favorite and one of the younger forward stars that is going to be on the rise. When talking about this previous summer, Keldon Johnson spent his summer playing with the Olympics, being trained by KD Kevin Durant, being trained by Jason Tatum, and of course being coached by Greg Popovich. Keldon Johnson just got so much experience from this, and I do believe he's going to bring it to the squad. With the Spurs losing DeMar DeRozan, they're going to need a small forward who can score and be a reliable go-to player. And that's where Keldon Johnson simply comes in. He's going to be the second or third option for the Spurs, and I do believe he could average about 18 points per game. That makes a lot of sense to me with high efficiency and a couple of steals and blocks. Keldon Johnson right now is ranked at 113th. He's going to top 100 this season, that's for sure. Greg Popovich is going to give him the most minutes he can handle. Next up, we got Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons. He is a very good target when it comes to a center, just giving you double-doubles and some defensive stats. When talking about last season, when the Pistons had Mason Plumlee, you can tell at the end, Dwayne Casey was focusing the development all on Isaiah Stewart. Casey loves to give him a lot of minutes, and I do believe this year it's the exact same thing. With Mason Plumlee being shipped off this summer, Isaiah Stewart's minutes just increase. And even though they just signed Kelly Olynyk, I still believe Dwayne Casey will start Isaiah. I see him averaging about 11 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game this season, playing 30 minutes, consistent minutes. That's all that matters in fantasy. A big man that gives you high efficiency, and when you put him active on your lineups, you know what he's going to give you. Isaiah Stewart right now is listed at 67. I am going to be honest, I do wish he was ranked a little bit lower, so his expectations could be a little bit higher, but don't sleep on Isaiah. He's high in the rankings for a reason. He is going to be a good target. Next up, we got DeJounte Murray of the Spurs. I believe now he's going to be the Spurs' number 1 option after DeMar DeRozan left. He's in the exact same position as Keldon Johnson. With the Spurs not having anybody right now to control the rock and also be their go-to reliable scorer, DeJounte Murray has passed that stage where he's been injured and is now looking really healthy to contribute to a true Spurs run. Last year, he averaged about 16 points a game, 7 rebounds and 5 assists and 1.5 steals. And he finished the season as a top 50 player, and I do see the exact same thing this year, but with top 30 potential. Right now, he's ranked at number 53, and I do believe he's going to be a great target in the 4th rounds of your fantasy drafts, of course in big leagues. Next up, we got OG Anunoby of the Toronto Raptors, and with them not having Pascal Siakam, OG becomes their secondary go-to player. Last year playing for the Raptors, OG averaged about 16 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 steals, and of course a block as well. And with OG being one of the better two-way players in the league, this season I do see him jumping from 50 points a game to almost 20 points per game. The Raptors this summer lost Kyle Lowry. They need someone they can rely on those floor spacing abilities, and that's where OG simply comes in. They want to use OG kind of like a Jason Tatum type of vibe. And the last breakout player is Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets. He is also a fan favorite breakout option this summer, and right now he's being listed as a top 22 fantasy guy. We're going to be seeing MPJ in the second round or third rounds of NBA drafts being taken. Last season, MPJ was phenomenal. He averaged about 19 points and 7 rebounds. But the reason why he's going to break out this year is because Jamal Murray is not going to be available for most of the season. And with that being said, MPJ has to be the second option behind Nikola Jokic to be their go-to scorer. If I'm going to give you my honest prediction, I see MPJ averaging about 24 to 25 points per game, getting you a lot of 3-point shots, a lot of field goals made, and of course taking good high quality shots. MPJ is going to be the Denver Nuggets' future superstar. He's in the same position as LaMelo Ball. We all know they're going to be good, and I'm just confirming it. Do not sleep on not drafting him in the second or third rounds. So yes guys, this wraps up my video for today, talking about the top 10 breakout fantasy players for this upcoming season. What's most important to me is I want to know your thoughts. Did I miss anybody, or you agree with all of these players? Put your thoughts down in the comments below. But other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets. Woo!